Hey everyone, welcome to week 6. I'm just going to show you really quick the discussion and go through what's expected for this discussion this week. So you are going to discuss some life science topics that you believe to be developmentally appropriate for the early childhood classroom, and you're going to select 3 topics, one for each of the following age groups. So one topic for toddlers, one for preschoolers, and one for kindergarten, first grade, so somewhere around 5 and 6 years old. And you'll need to provide evidence and an explanation as to why the topics that you selected are developmentally appropriate. And then your evidence should include information about the state or early learning standards or guidelines that align with the topics that you selected that prove like this is developmentally appropriate for young children. And I've linked for you the sites that will provide you that information. I understand that might be the first time that some of you have accessed these sites, so I wanted to walk you through how to use them. This first link is the Next Generation Science Standards, and I'm all kinds of excited about the Next Generation Science Standards. I think they're incredibly inclusive, very developmentally appropriate, and just wonderfully written. And they cross discipline, so you can find information to support language and literacy, as well as the arts, all through science curriculum. So let's open up this first link, and you can see, now I'm going to be really honest, this is more supportive of kindergarten on. So if you're looking for toddlers and preschoolers, this is not the place to look. But for your kindergarten, first grade topics, and maybe even preschool, you can use this search engine. And so you might type life science into the keyword search. Don't worry about cross-cutting concepts. For practice, you can select any of these. So if you want children to analyze and interpret data or ask questions and define problems, you can select. Isn't that exciting? I think it's super exciting. Select core discipline area. You can select, but you don't have to. And so here's how these work. My face is in the way, but you see these alphanumeric codes that are next to each of the disciplines. P is just like what we talk about physical science in our class, L is life science, and E is earth science. So those 3 main content areas in the sciences. You can select one, you don't have to. Let's see if we can find anything on social interactions and group behavior. Sounds really interesting. I'm going to select K2. See what pops up. And here's the trick, sometimes nothing pops up and you have to keep trying and changing your search items. Nothing popped up. That's okay. I'm going to go alter my search settings. I'm going to say this can be, let's try information processing. Let's just get rid of that and see if we get anything now. So sometimes it takes a little bit of trying, so I don't want you to get too discouraged. But say that you just want to look up something for information processing, grades kindergarten through 2. Oh, still nothing. Oh, here we go. Nope, there was some. So there's some activity suggestions from molecules to organisms, from molecules to organism structures and process, structure, function, and information processing. And so this is going to give you some activity ideas, and it's going to show you all of the information about the standard. And so you can see here, these are the standards. 1, Life Science 1-1. Use materials to design a solution to a human problem by mimicking how plants and or animals use their external parts to help them survive, grow, and meet their needs. Or Life Science 1-2, read texts and use media to determine patterns offspring to help their offspring survive. And then Life Science 3-1, make observations to construct an evidence-based account that young plants and animals are like, but not exactly alike their parents. So this is going to give you ideas how to use the actual standard, and then it'll tell you how this cross-cuts other content areas. This isn't necessarily going to give you a lesson plan, but it's going to give you information to find lesson plans that are associated with this particular standard. And so you just feel free, play around with this site. You can learn a lot. And that's why I'm having you do this discussion so that you can really jump into these standards, get to know them, research them, look at them, get familiar with them. I could do a whole lecture on what they are, but the best way for you to learn about them is to just jump right in and start applying them and using them. Now let's go back to the topic and let's look at OSPI's page for life science learning or for science learning K-12. This is OSPI's website. And this has the links to the standards that are science-based. And you can see Washington State Learning Standards and the Next Generation Science Standards. Let's see if it just takes us to the same page. Nope, it took us here. It has some information about standards. And then it says view the Washington State and Science and Learning Standards. Now this page is a little bit different. It's going to tell you the Next Generation Science Standards for the same standards that you would see on that other page, but it's broken down for you a little bit differently. So don't be afraid to jump in here too. In this video, we actually, if you were in class, we would watch these videos together. It just explains what the Next Generation Science Standards are and go into why they're so wonderful. So take your time and feel free if you want to watch these two videos. They are wonderful. But you can see nature of science, engineering, that's physical science, all standards, all students, case studies, responsibility. So you play around with this, open this up and see what you can find. You may find that you like the other resource better, it's easier to use, or you might like this one. It's really up to you. And then the last link is what's going to help you when you are looking for information about toddlers and preschoolers and what is developmentally appropriate for them. And this is just a link to a PDF of the Washington State Early Learning and Development Guidelines that you actually can't buy at the bookstore anymore, but I had a friend, another teacher at a different college, send me the PDF version so that we have access to it. So that's what this document is. I'm going to open it up. This should look familiar to you. You've heard many of your instructors talk about this book before as the tree book, and the tree book is broken down by age group. And then within each age group, it's broken down by component or content area. And so let's go ahead and see what those content areas are. We have, sorry, look away while I scroll, it'll make you dizzy. All right, we have, did I pass it already? You guys, I get the weirdest songs stuck in my head all the time, and today's song of the day is YMCA. You're welcome. Okay, so we have the content areas of all about me and my family and culture, building relationships, touching, seeing, hearing, and moving around, growing up healthy, and then we also have communicating, learning about my world, and then each section has a section called differences in development. I'm going to make the assumption that learning about my world is going to be more science related. So I'm going to select toddlers and page 50. So look away for a second. I can't just jump to, you know, sometimes you can jump to a page in a document. I can't do that with this. All right, where are we? Oh, too far. 10 more. 56. So this is kind of the process of scrolling through to find what you're looking for. And this is page 49, page 50. Oh, I don't know that this is what we want. Look at this. Connects objects with actions? Sure. Repeat an action over and over. This is more like adaptive behaviors than it is cognitive development or science. For one, make choices such as which toy to play with. I'm not sure that's the section we want. So let's keep looking and see. Maybe it's not that. So that's reading, communicating, growing up healthy. That's physical development. And then touching, seeing, hearing, and moving around is fine and gross motor. Social behavior. And then self-management. This might be challenging to use too. That's okay. You might even look at, oh, here we go. There's a science section. Bing, bang, boom. We found it. Sorry. Thanks for hanging in there with me. This is where you're going to find information about things that are appropriate for toddlers. And there's this document goes all the way through third grade, I believe. And so you could use this for your kindergarten and first grade section as well, or activity ideas. But I love this document, y'all, because it says children may, and then do you see on the right-hand column, it says ideas to try with children. So part of this assignment is saying what activities or what topics are developmentally appropriate, and then identifying an activity that you can explain in 3 to 5 sentences, and then backing that up with a standard. So that's all right here for you. So use your resources, have fun with this discussion. You can use this, you can use your ideas from this discussion to develop your first science lesson that's due this week in your discussion, in your Canvas workspace with your team, and then you will get your peer feedback and turn in your first science lesson on life science this week. So again, this week's topic is life science. You're going to identify 3 topic ideas for 3 age groups and talk about why they're developmentally appropriate. Have a great week. I'm so sad that we can't be together, and jumping into this science stuff and not getting to see you complete your small group activities is really hard for me. So I'm trying to make this as engaging and fun as possible virtually. So have a great week, everybody. I'll see you online.